Today on Business Success in Six with Stacie, I have Zach Katzner here from Shorewood Opticians in Shorewood, Wisconsin. Zach, thanks for jumping on with me.
Thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. I really would like to talk to you about Shorewood Opticians, and you have a really unique business. Could we talk about Shorewood Opticians a little bit and you share with our...
Absolutely. Yeah, of course.
So when people ask you how you describe Shorewood Opticians, how do you describe your business?
So Shorewood Opticians is a family owned and has been for 40 plus years now because I'm the second owner of it.
Okay.
Uh, in optical shop basically. So we take people's prescriptions. You go see your eye doctor, whether that's an ophthalmologist or an optometrist. No differentiation here. As long as you get a great eye exam, we're happy. You bring in that prescription, and then we would make you a pair of glasses from it. How will we describe it? It's everything is done with me. So I'm the owner and operator. So from answering the phones to doing the actual sales process and fitting process of glasses, all the way down to cutting your lenses, because this is how lenses start, right? They come in as this big chunk of plastic.
Yeah.
I cut them and fit them into the frames. So that's all done with me.
Okay, you just said a big chunk of plastic. So it's not glass anymore? It's like glass.
No, hasn't been glass in about 25 years or so. We can still get glass. So you might have a couple of viewers who are still looking for it here and there. I still have access to it. I have one lab in the country, way out in California, actually in Oakland, that will still cut it for me, but it's pretty rare. Almost everything is a type of plastic now.
Oh my gosh, you learn something new every day. That's so interesting. And the name still sticks, the glass is, right? So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's how many different industries have things like that, right? Where
right.
we made a term based off of how it originally was, and technology's moved forward, and
Yeah,
here we are
totally.
now with glasses.
So let's talk a little bit more about the technology, because I thought it was really fascinating. When you talk about your business, you talked about you're partially in the trades, partially in retail sales, and partially in the medical industry. That's so
Absolutely.
fascinating to me. Would you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, great. I mean, that's a great thing to pull back up. Yeah, so really, as an optician, right? So you'd go and see your doctor. Those are ODs and MDs, and that's again a whole nother conversation, argument, however you want to term it. We're different, so we're not doctors. I'm never going to lie to someone and say that we are, but we are an interesting juxtaposition of retail, right? Because we have to sell glasses. These are not, unfortunately, free. It's not a free commodity, not in the US at least. So retail, medical, because we're dealing with the human body, we're dealing with eyes, people's previous pathology and medical conditions, and then also the trades, because there's a lot of handwork that goes into it, and not just adjusting. Again, I have glasses everywhere, right? So I've got a pair here, not just the adjustments that we make, but also the hand finishing work to make sure that lenses fit properly, that they look right, and that they fit well. And not to mention the repair side of things. Do lots of repairs here. So, either whether it's welding, whether it's polishing, fusing acetate, that's the type of plastic we use. There's just so many different little components and pieces to this.
Well, and you offer sunglasses as well. And your specific niche is for people that like have a little bit more complex of needs too, right? And not just like
Exactly.
one ear is higher than the other, because I know one of my ears is higher than the other, but tell a little bit more about
You,
the niche that you're working with.
of course, you and everyone else, almost everyone is asymmetrical. There's, I think, I'm gonna blank on it. I want to say it was Denzel Washington. They ran a face scan, and he's the most symmetrical person currently, something like that. Don't quote me, it could be wrong, but I'm almost positive it was Denzel.
Cool.
But everyone else basically has one eye that's a little higher, an ear that's a little higher, but that's really easy to work with. What I specialize in is just complex prescriptions. So really strong prescriptions, what we call high myopia or high hyperopia. So very nearsighted or very farsighted.
Okay.
I do a lot of work with that. Prism, maybe not something you're familiar with, but people who have it, trust me, they are very familiar with it. Usually to correct
Okay.
double vision or visual field loss. So that's where you'd lose like a quadrant of your vision. We
Wow.
can do stuff with that. That's what I specialize in, and that's what I love to work with all day long. Again, don't get me wrong. If you have simple prescription, I'm happy to work with it too. But that's something that lots of people can do. I really specialize in the complex and the difficult.
Yeah, so unique, so special. And I'm sure all those people are really, really appreciating that you do those difficult and complex, glasses. So cool.
Yeah, there was a wonderful optician in Tosa who that was again his specialty. He's retired and referred his patient base to me, and it seems to have been a pretty seamless transition over the last probably year and a half. I've been doing that now for him for his patients, and just more and more people who need these skills.
Yeah, for sure. So what were your plans when you started the business? You actually bought the business, right?
I
About 2
did.
years ago. What were your plans and how has it changed?
Well, as I shared with you before, the plan was not to buy the business originally. I joke that I was dragged kicking and screaming into it and to the optical field as well. But I'm so glad that I made the decision. My original business plan, and as a business owner yourself, you might find this funny, was basically to stay open.
Yeah,
Was to
right?
really, you know, I had never owned a business before. Thankfully, I understood the trade, right? So I knew how to make glasses, I knew how to work with people. But when you hop onto QuickBooks and you're trying to balance your books, it's a totally different
Oh
ball game,
yeah,
right? So
absolutely.
I had great friends and great mentors that have helped me through it. Wonderful accountant who's really, worked me through. So, been profitable for 2 years now. Two and a
Amazing.
half,
2 years,
I guess.
both of the years. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yep. So we're doing good in that regard. Um, Basically just kind of, growing slowly. We don't want to have too many growing pains. That's always a concern. We
Sure.
really want to stay true to who we are. So if you grow too fast, I sometimes think that you can lose sight of what made
You're-
you special as a business and what really was why you were a small business.
Yeah,
So that's why I like to still have my hand in everything that happens here.
very good. So what is the biggest way you're impacting the community? I mean, obviously it's pretty obvious when you're helping people see how, if they have an area of their vision that they can't see, but overall, what do you say the biggest way you impact the community is?
Yeah, I think that's a great one, and it's education as well. So I do education for other opticians. So it's not just me directly working with the community, which you certainly cannot discount that at all. That's of course an important aspect of this,
Mm.
but doing the education for other opticians so then they can benefit their communities and even Milwaukee as well. So I do training here and nationwide for other opticians. And then I support a few local sports teams as well, just sponsoring jerseys or little trips, things like that. Because I think that that activity is so important, not necessarily in the optical world, but just to overall health and just maintaining the social interaction.
Absolutely. So, so important. I can appreciate that having 3 children myself. And I actually have a friend whose child is blind in one eye and
Sure.
has to wear special glasses because, I mean, when you're playing sports and you only have that one eye,
Got to
it
protect it.
can imagine, right? Like how scary that could be. So could you help that person as well if they just wanted a specific kind of glasses?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. So doing protective eyewear is right in the wheelhouse, right? That's something that I do almost every single day. Different materials that we can do that with, different ways, and just different things that we can achieve that people are looking for. So it's not just, it doesn't always have to be the old school, rec spec goggles that have the strap on the back. We've got other ways to accomplish that as well.
Very cool. Make them feel confident as well.
Absolutely.
So, what is one challenge that you have faced, Zach, that other business owners could learn from?
A challenge that I've faced that other business owners can learn from. Imposter syndrome was my number one. And I'm not ashamed to admit that, I guess. I'll never forget sitting here on January 5th. So bought the practice December 22nd. We signed the paperwork of 2020, finished out that year under previous ownership.
Mhm.
I took over January 4th because that was after the long weekend and how that all shook out. It was closed that day. January 5th was officially my first day open. And I remember sitting at my desk that's in the back room back there and just going, what the heck am I doing here? Like why do I own a business? Why am I not just doing this for someone else still? So um, pushed through that obviously. And, I have something to offer. And so that's why I stuck with it.
Well, and for our viewers, imposter that don't know what imposter syndrome is, it's you thinking you're not good enough to actually
Mhm.
to be in the position you're in. And what's interesting is Oprah Winfrey has that imposter syndrome come in. I remember hearing this in a book, like
Yeah.
everybody does. So I'm so glad you brought that up because people are worthy, right? We are worthy of doing this, and you have to like put those negative thoughts out
For
so much
sure.
as a business owner, because otherwise you're going to shut down really quick, right?
Got to have that self-belief. And, like I told you, I've been doing this for almost a decade. I know I look super young, but I have been doing this for quite a while. So
That's a
I
good
had the
thing.
foundational skills to do it. It was just sitting there, and I'll just never forget, like, what am I going to do? How do I do this? But you just take it one day at a time, and it just gets easier and easier.
Yeah, I love that you shared that. Thank you so much for bringing
Yeah,
that.
of course.
So, what does the future look like to you? And do you have an exit plan?
No exit plan currently. I'm not quite 30 yet, so I've got a
Okay.
lot of years still to work, and I still love what I do. So no reason really to leave or think about that at this point. Future is a great question. I've got kind of two paths in my head, and not really sure the route I want to go. So path number one is basically the status quo, right? So keep running the shop either as a one-man show or with a really small crew,
Mhm.
and just turning out really great eyewear for people and doing just, all of the basics right still, complex, just really nail it down, and probably doing more consulting work because, again, I've done that in the past, and expanding on that side of things. Conversely, would be opening up a second store someday,
Okay.
and then trying to bring the Shorewood Optician brand to other parts of the city, or other parts of the state. So those are kind of the two paths I guess I have in my head, and not even been here 5 years yet, so not really ready to make that jump one way or another.
Absolutely. You've got time, right?
No kidding, nothing but time.
I love it. So, my final question for you today is, all subjects open. What inspires you most?
My wife and my daughter, 100%. So just want to make sure that I can provide the best for them, and just for our community and everything, and doing what's right for our family, I guess, right? So my wife works too, and she's just such an inspiration watching her be a mom. Our daughter is only 6 months old, so
Oh,
that's yep.
congratulations.
Thank you. It's new for us, but um, just seeing her being able to tackle motherhood and still working and everything, and just the dynamic of us being parents, that inspires me, and pushes me on every day, really.
So, so special. So, Zach, if somebody wants to get in contact with you to use your services, what's the best way for them to do so?
Great question. Get in contact with us either via phone number, right? So we do lots of our work by appointment. Walk-ins are always accepted as well.
Sure.
But our phone number is listed on Google or on our website. I'll read it off here too quick. It's 414-332-1290. We have a new website that just got built. That is Shorewood Opt OPT. So SHOREOPT.com. And there's a contact form right on there. Otherwise, we have a great social media platform through Facebook that you can reach out to us there as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, for getting into this really niche business and sharing it with our community, Zach.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.